Hello, besties. It's me, your internet dad Weaver. I have a couple things I want to talk to you about. Are we working? We're working. Besties, uh, I really have a bone to pick with you in particular. I just wanted to lay out some really weird facts at the front because I'm talking about things that are counterintuitive but are true, um, and things that might help some of you guys be a better writer. It is not Veterans Day. Veterans Day is tomorrow. I'm celebrating because we have a 4 day. This is my 3 day double. I would be sexy as fuck in the apocalypse. Okay, so let me drink some of this shit. All right, so here's something counterintuitive that you may not know. Most people who write a book, or most writers, write a single book, and it is a memoir, okay, about their life. And this is like so well known that there are people that write books about how to write memoirs. Basically, you don't start at the beginning. You start like with like the interesting thing about someone's life. Like if I was going to do something about a politician's life, if I was a politician writing about my life, I would write about like some big deal that got passed, like the big thing, right? People wanted to know that. Um, so that is a thing. Like, so if you are not a person, if you're a writer and you're going to write more than one book, you're already in like the extreme minority of writers. And then if you pick a niche, like if you're writing a fantasy romance, you're already like super niche, even though romance is like the biggest genre. Um, so like the other thing is the sense I get from talking to new writers and writers that are like coming up now in my niche, which is progression fantasy and lit RPG, is that like if they don't get this one, let me close this. Let me get better. Yes, if they don't get like they have like one shot at Rising Stars, and I feel like Rising Stars is changing in general to be more like if you don't do all the little things and your writing isn't perfect, you're not going to get there. I don't know. I still think there's a spot for off meta stuff, and like I'm tired of hearing the word meta. Erebus and I are bitching about it. I'm like, oh, it's a character driven thing. It's not meta. Bro, what are you talking about? Character driven. That is. If I'm not enjoying the characters, I'm not driven to read your book. That's just a fact, besties. So like, couple that fact. Like so, recently people have been like, hey, I know that I did not read any of the guides and I just launched, even though like I've been on this subreddit. Do I have a chance? I'm like, everyone has a chance. But like the idea that you only have one shot at Rising Stars, like you could do a relaunch. I have a guide on relaunches. I'll probably go over that a little bit in this video. This is mostly geared towards like this is for you newer authors to kind of like say like it's okay if your first thing is a failure. You should be rushing to failure. You should want to fail a lot. You should want to fail often. Um, Failure is baked in. Okay, and the thing about that is like you're like so. There's a book I really like. It's by Matt Dinniman. It is not his current series. It is about it is a VR MMO. It is really well written. Um, I forget the name of it, but it's really well written. There's a second book. I haven't read the second book. I read the first one. Um, but I would not have read it if I didn't like Dungeon Crawler Carl. Um, and basically, like, what happens, and I need you to separate like the reader part and like the author part. So authors, they don't understand when I say this, but like, if you have a super fan, like a super fan, a reader who wants to read all your stuff, they will read all your stuff. I have two people that comment every chapter I write in Royal Road. Every single chapter, like, thank you. Or they send an emoji. I'm just like, oh, you guys are so great. Thank you. Um, because they like my stuff. And if someone likes one of my books, they're probably gonna like all of my books, right? So like just because your first thing does not get immediately like hot reception and like you don't get like publishers swooning over you to offer your thing, doesn't mean that you're cooked. It just means that like or like fried, whatever. Cooked is good, fried is bad. I don't know. Doesn't mean that you're fried. It just means that you need more time. Books need time to find their audience, and like you cannot guarantee. Like everyone's like, oh, I want to be an overnight success. What you can do is think about your locus of control, right? Interesting. And you need to set everything up so that if people show up to your bar, and I'm going to use a bar rescue metaphor here, if people show up to sign up for your newsletter, for your content, that you actually have something, and that is by making a backlog. You can control the stuff that you can control your release schedule, you can control how well your stuff looks, you can control your blurb. Hell, you could send me a blurb and I'll review it. Might even do a takedown here on the channel if I get bored. You can control all that stuff. Control the stuff you can control. But the way that once it's out there in the wild, the way that people react to it, that's totally on them, and you cannot control that. You can just control your release schedule, control the quality of work, and improve the quality of work, right? And you'll do better, right? But this like idea that there's only one Rising Stars, you can still relaunch that fiction, although I wouldn't do it within 6 months, and I'd probably push it to a year if possible. But you could do another series, and the thing that people keep complaining about in progression fantasy is not having completed series to binge. Like, I finished 3 series in the last 18 months. They're great. And now I'm slowly getting them prepared for print, right? I should be doing dev edits on one of my books now, because they're like overdue. But in the comments, tell me to do my dev edits for Caravan of Blades book 2. But like, if you are like put off by like not having immediate success, this is not the place for you. It is a slow burn, and you are going to take your time getting to a finished product. All right, and that's not immediately clear because of survivorship bias. Like, because you see the ones that stuck around. When I came around in 2012, when I came up in 2022 and 2023, all my friends, like, not everyone is still around. Some of them I talk to daily, like in 23, 20, 22, 24, they are no longer writing because they gave up because they did not get the immediate feedback, right? And they wrote well, all right? And that's not a dig on them. Like, I would love for them to come back up on the net and just be like, hey, I have just been cooking for 3 years, but like one of my friends, I'm like, hey, how's Descent? And he's like, I might be at chapter 7 now. Brother, I just finished my 16th book. What are you doing? And we started at the same time. And I'm just like, it's okay if that's not your priority. But like, people come into these expectations because they see the heights, and I need you to like put your blinders on and just control what you can control, which is having a large backlog, getting your critique group in order, getting your shoutouts ready before you jump, right? And like enjoying that stuff. So that's my soapbox for today. Yeah. So like, another thing is like, I'm not mad at these guys, the other 2 media guys that are like in this space. I'm not like continuing their stuff, but I am going to start doing more interviews and posting more interviews here, and on my system analysis newsletter, which has a link in below. Subscribe to that newsletter for like more like author stuff. But yes, I do have a book out. Here's my pitch. It's called Imagine Wagons, first book of my Caravan of Blades. And I'm about to send out my Kickstarter stuff and be done with that Kickstarter, because that was a thing. What am I talking about? Okay, so here's my next pitch. All right, so it has become apparent to me that like, there's not really like an industry awards thing besides the ones that I'm creating. So I like to create the things. I like to create things that I don't see, right? So I said, there's not a book on how to write progression fantasy, so I wrote that. It's not done yet. It's in dev edits. Well, it's in line edits because it doesn't need to be dev edited. It's a nonfiction. So I created the thing. So in 2024, we created the Inkies Awards for Immersive Inc. for progression fantasy lit RPG, right? You don't have to be a member to be nominated, but you do have to be a member to vote and to nominate people. And this year it's going to be in the Immersive Quill Awards. I will do a video just on that, because the nominations for the 25 categories or whatever let's see. Let me go down the line real quick. Best fantasy and railroad novelizing, best satire, best lit RPG, any platform, best romance, best comedy, best male MC, best female MC, best other gender MC, best non-human MC, prose, deck builder, cover, narrator, male, narrator, female. We had a non-binary narrator, but no one was nominated. If you want to nominate a non-binary narrator for anything, and they are okay with being identified as such, like just send me a thing. I'll reopen that category. Best meme, which is a server internal thing. Best worst for Royal Road, which is generally a short story, or people say it's a multi POV. Rookie of the Year, most valuable author, most novel system. I named an award after myself because fuck you. That's why. It's called the Weavy for best world building. Blue Tomboshi won it last year. Good job, Blue. And then there's like 5 awards that are just like server internal awards. The Nepo section, for the best librarian, best rising star fiction, best non-rising star fiction, best Amazon release, and then the Kate Award for best moderator, which is the most nepotistic award of all because Kate didn't even win it. The server owner won it, and I think that the joke is going to be that we're going to nominate him again and vote for him again. So that is like a fan award, right? That is like an immersive ink. So I was like, okay, there's additionally, like, I want to recognize self-published works and self-published authors because there's such a lot of self-published stuff in this space. And I was a self-published author before I, became indie published. So there are two. There are two self-published bake-offs. There's a self-published sci-fi bake-off. I was a participant in version 3 of that, and there was a self-published fantasy bake-off. The self-published sci-fi bake-off just kicked off. It's like a 6-month thing, and they crown a winner every year. And there's a self-published fantasy one which starts on January 3rd. If I get enough judges, this is I'm call to action. I'm looking for judges to judge a self-published lit RPG bake-off. All right. This is all tentative. So, Selkie just messaged me. So, this is all tentative, but I need judges because I want to be able to accept up to 100 to 300 people. Right now, I have like 10 confirmed judges. But like basically, I need some people to judge the books, and it's going to be a multi-step process where you get like a slush pile of like 10 to 30 books, and then it's going to be like a finalist where like each judge does the thing where each judge like does a review. And the idea is that like there's no money, but I will buy the winner a bathrobe. We will make it like some sort of like calculator thing. I would say it's a calculator because it's lit RPG. Messaging. But anyway, so I'm looking for judges. Not get distracted by Selkie. And then I'm going to end with this idea. So there is a thing called SCP, Secure Containment Protocol, and I'm thinking about doing a fiction about wizard school where halfway through it is discovered that they are inside of an SCP protocol. But yes, so I'm looking for judges for that, self-published. There's going to be some rules. When I have enough judges, I'm going to post the rules on my blog. I'm going to do a thing just for that. But I do need judges. If I get the confirmed judges, because I cannot do this alone, I'm not reading everything. I might be like a tiebreaker. I have some tiebreaker voters, but like I need people to volunteer to be judges so that we can like do this thing. So once a year we're gonna be like, your self-published king, queen. Here is your bathrobe, and then we can just crown a winner and just like give them a lot of publicity. Because the idea is to get them a bunch of reviews. They probably get like 30 reviews, and like point to that. In the sci-fi and fantasy, some of the guys have gotten deals with publishers after the fact because basically it has to be live basically by June 31st. But yeah, that's about it. Separate thing. Wrong thing. But yeah, I'm gonna get distracted. So do the thing.